Wow. How about those chicken nuggets? What little chicken is in them to begin with is glued together with modified cornstarch, then tossed in corn flour and fried in hydrogenated corn oil. Choose your beverage to wash it down with. If you choose soda, you're getting high fructose corn syrup. If you choose beer, brand dependent of course, you're getting alcohol fermented by corn. Michael Pollan refers to us as corn walking. Then he goes on to explain how all that corn is GMO. I choose to say no. Welcome back to the Keys Ingredients. You remember my petite chef Isabella and my chef in training Carson. Welcome back, guys.
Great to be back in the kitchen.
Can't wait to start cooking.
What are we making today in the kitchen?
Oh, only your favorite after-school snack, nachos.
Yes!
Of course, we will be using my ingredients, which will include absolutely no GMOs. These three little letters have made quite a name for themselves. With all the label rating you're already doing, you may have already eliminated them. However, for those of you who have never heard of them, let's start with what they stand for. GMO stands for Genetically Modified Organism.
Oh, what?
GM. Who?
That response is pretty typical, so let me break it down for you. Food scientists have actually found ways to manipulate or change the genes in naturally occurring food. Basically, they're altering the DNA or the intelligence of the cell.
Like what?
Well, like putting the gene of a flounder fish into the gene of a tomato plant, so the tomato plant can withstand cold temperatures just like that fish.
Weird.
It's like Frankenstein.
That's why some people call GMOs Frankenfood. So let's have a look at the ingredients we will be using.
Chips!
Yes, but however, these are organic corn chips. They also have an ancient grain called quinoa and flax seeds. So along with the starch of the corn, you're actually getting two other great ingredients, adding omega-3s and protein.
Black beans. Yum!
They're your favorite, and they will add more protein as well. So along with those two ingredients, we will be using organic cheese, so it's free from antibiotics and hormones, topping with lots of fresh ingredients like tomatoes, onions, and cilantro, which is the ultimate blood cleanser. And as for these ingredients, we won't be using those, just in case so you were wondering.
Mom, quit being so cheesy.
Sorry. We look forward to teaching you how to make homemade guacamole and salsa for dipping.
So how do they make a GMO?
Actually, there are different ways to make a GMO. In BT corn, the BT endotoxin is inserted right into the plant. So when an insect bites the corn, it causes tiny little holes in the insect's gut lining. The bad bacteria leaks into the gut, causing the insect to die. Then, of course, there's RR corn, and that is sprayed with Roundup. You guys know the stuff you spray on your driveway to kill all those weeds? I mean, do you want to eat that?
No.
Me neither.
Well, how do you know if it's in your food?
Good question. There's an app for that?
Oh, quit being so corny.
I'm not being corny. There really is an app for that. You can look for the Non-GMO Shopping Guide and these labels when buying your food. The Non-GMO Verified Project and USDA Organic. So this formula, like many of my others, is so easy, these kids can do it. So why don't you guys go ahead and assemble these nachos while I talk about my top three.
Sure.
Today, my top three are GI problems, infertility, and guinea pigs. Number 1, GI problems. Gastrointestinal issues are way more prevalent now than ever before. I mean, you've seen the ads, all the potions to help with your gas, your bloating, your indigestion, constipation, reflux, and all that just general tummy upset. We also hear about people that have irritable bowel all the time. When you understand what BT corn does to an insect's gut lining, it just stands to reason the same will eventually happen to us. Overall gut health is so important to your overall health. A healthy gut lining is created with whole foods and minimizing those processed ones. Number 2, infertility. Since the introduction of GMOs into our food source, infertility rates have also increased. In a recent study done on rats that were given GMO feed, they developed tumors, and by their third generation, they were infertile. Number 3, guinea pigs. And by guinea pigs, I mean us. There are no documented studies on the effects of GMOs on humans. Not yet. We are the experiment. So given that there is no sound scientific evidence proving the long-term safety of GMOs for human consumption, my family and I, we choose to completely avoid them. Okay, everybody, I'm really excited to share my formula for homemade salsa. And what I like most about this is that when it's boiling, which we'll do a little bit later, you can actually put in canning jars, flip them upside down, the lid will seal, and you can store them in your pantry for that unexpected yet very welcomed guest. So let me go over my ingredients for the salsa. We have, I call this one everybody salsa because it's great for everybody. You can make it mild, medium, or hot, just depends on the peppers and the amounts that you use. So we have habanero and jalapenos, which I'm going to use just a little bit of the jalapeno. We have fresh tomatoes, fresh bell peppers, and poblano. The green ones are poblanos. And I have diced onion, fresh cilantro, remember that ultimate blood cleanser. I have a little bit of tomato paste to thicken it up. We're going to use 4 ounces of apple cider vinegar and also some salt. This part will come in a little bit later. The first thing I'm going to do is take my beautiful fresh veggies, juice and all, and I'm going to arrange them on a cookie sheet, which I have a kind of a silicone lining here. You can use parchment paper or a silicone lining. Okay, I have the peppers and the tomatoes. Love to get my hands dirty. And I'm going to add the onions. Amounts, let me think. I have 4 medium onions and I have 4 cups of tomatoes, and then I have approximately a half of each of the peppers. So it balances out really nice. I am going to roast these because it really adds a robust kind of depth to the flavor of the salsa. I'm going to keep my cilantro fresh. I am, however, going to use my handy dandy garlic tool, and I like garlic, so I'm going to add 3 small cloves. You can do 2 large or 3 small. Just dice that up real quick, and I'm going to put the garlic right in there with those fresh veggies. A little bit of olive oil before they roast. Just toss that gently. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just put this in the oven at 400 for about 20 minutes or until I can see the onions just trying to turn brown a little. And while our vegetables are roasting for the salsa, I'm going to go ahead and make up our guacamole. We use 3 avocados. Some of them are already in here. I'm going to just show you how I actually, some people look at this and are wondering, how do you do that? When you're shopping for avocado, if you touch the tip right here, and it's a little bit, this one's really ripe, but when you touch right here, it should be a little bit soft. There's nothing worse than trying to peel a hard avocado. So I'm going to just cut into this. And there is a very large pit inside for all of you non-avocado eaters. Okay. This pit's about to fall out, but usually I just hit it with the knife and it comes out very easily. Yay, it worked. You can remove your pit. You are going to squeeze, I have 1/3 cup of red onion. That is definitely a secret. But squeeze the avocado into the bowl. There we go. This one's really, really ripe. You can just discard the shells and the pit. And you can use, this bowl was too small, but I like the pestle and mortar where you can smash everything up. You want to be smashing your avocado, but you don't want to over mash it. You still want some chunks of avocado. By the way, is one of my absolute favorite healthy fats. Rushed for breakfast in the morning, a half avocado with some lime and some salt. It will keep you all day without crashing. Okay, the rest of my ingredients here. I have a couple of tomatoes that are diced. If you already had salsa made, you could actually use 2 tablespoons of the salsa that you already have made. I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. And stir that in. Avocado's a lot like banana. When it gets air, it kind of turns brown. Prevent that by juice of fresh lime. I actually have a lime squeezer, but I oftentimes find that it squirts me in the eye, so I'm just going to do it with my hands. I've got one whole lime here. And you have choices with all this stuff. You can do coarse or finely chopped cilantro. You can leave the cilantro out if you don't like cilantro. I did mine coarse. It's fine for my salsa, but I like it coarse in my guacamole. That lime was very, very juicy, so I just used 3/4. You have to kind of gauge it. Okay, 2 cloves of garlic, because that is number 1 on the anti-cancer. Garlic is awesome. Add that in, stir it up. This will be really good after it sits for a little bit, so while we're waiting on those vegetables to roast, this can sit, let the flavors go through. You have the option as well to spice up your guacamole with peppers, jalapeno, habanero, however you like it. So that is raw. Our salsa today will be cooked. However, there are plenty of other formulas for salsas that are raw. The possibilities are endless. I'll bring 4 ounces of apple cider vinegar to a boil. Remove these slow roasted vegetables and transfer them into my pot. I can already smell the robust aroma of the ingredients together. I'll add some pure pink Himalayan salt, give it a stir, and add some fresh cilantro. I'll lock in my flavor by simmering it for a little while. Pop these in just to melt the cheese. Remove them from the oven. And top them with fresh tomatoes and cilantro. Wow, guys, these look fantastic.
Thanks, Mom.
Give them a shot. I'm sure that these are going to be great, as is, or dipped in the homemade salsa or guacamole. Join us next week when we talk about farm-raised meat versus commercially raised. And that, my friends, is La Bella Verita.